one of the first things that happened in terms of me really wondering if miracles truly did happen, it had to do with my dad. I came home. I had just finished the military career when I was going into my residency for surgery. And I walked in the house. And remember, Dad was not a believer. So I look out the dining room window, and our backyard, there's this gorgeous stone, I'd call it it would look like a miniature Lourdes or something, big stone edifice with a circulating pumping water and the Virgin Mary, beautiful statue. And I'm like, Dad, what happened? That's not you. You built that? That must have cost a lot of money. What's going on here? Yeah. He said, oh yeah, you got to hear my story. Okay, so I'll try to. This story could take up a whole hour, but it won't. 5 minutes is all you can give me. And so he says, I had his friend Andy Brose, and Andy Brose went to mass every day. Why he went to mass every day? Well, he had terrible asthma when he was a kid, so his mother took him to a shrine in Canada, Saint Ando de Beaupré in Quebec, Canada, and he prayed that if Mother Mary would heal his, or God, Christ heal his, through the intercession of Mother Mary, would heal his terrible asthma, because his mother was told he wouldn't live to age 21. He would go to mass every day for the rest of his life. And the next morning, after praying all day, his asthma was gone. Doctors couldn't believe it when he got home. So anyway, my mother and father were visiting Annie and Adeline's house. And on the way home, it was about a 30-minute drive, Mom starts berating on Dad. You drank too much, and you told some off-color stories. Why can't you be like Andy? He goes to mass every day. He's a holy man. He's a wonderful man. I'm embarrassed to be with you. That's the way their marriage was. And sometimes Dad definitely deserved it. So Dad goes home, and he's lying in bed, and for the first time in his life decides to pray. Remember, he wasn't at all religious. And because Andy had talked about Mary, he said, Mother Mary, he said, I can understand why Andy goes to mass every day. And a miracle happened. In fact, he had a second miracle happen, and that he told Dad about it. And if I had one miracle happen to me, I would go to mass every day for the rest of my life. Well, it turned out that Andy, one of the things that the second miracle that happened to Andy is Andy's wife was pregnant, and he was a carpenter working in Connecticut with the cold winters. They didn't work that much. Didn't have any money to pay the hospital bill because she was pregnant. And he just prayed to God that something would happen, that he would be able to have the money to pay. So in Connecticut at that point in time, there was something called the numbers racket. It's kind of like the lottery that we have today. And it was illegal. And it was run by the Italian mafia, the Jewish mafia, all the mafias that were out there. And you had to pick a number from 1 to 1,000. Andy prayed the rosary every day besides going to mass. And he knew that in the rosary were 6 Our Fathers and 53 Hail Marys. So when I call him a bookie, it's actually called a runner, asked Andy what number he wanted, Andy said, put $1 on 653. And would you believe the odds are 1 in 1,000? The next morning, it shows up. It's the last 3 numbers in the Treasury department of how much money the United States Treasury has, and it appears in the New York Times and a lot of other papers. And the number ended in 653, and he wins $1,000. So he told my father that. Okay, so my father's asking Mother Mary for a miracle so he could become a believer. Every day in the office, he would make a phone call, or actually the phone call would come in from the job sites. It was a construction company. He was civil engineer, and the construction superintendents couldn't interpret the plans. So a guy by the name of Tony calls him, and they have their conversation about the building. And then he's about to hang up, and he says, John, I got a question to ask you. He said, you want to play the numbers today? And I'm standing there not believing what I'm hearing. And guy says, yeah. My father says, yeah, I want to play the numbers. What number you want? I want number 653. Put $2 on 653. My father says, yeah. Andy says, $2. He says, that's a lot of money. Remember, gas was like 20 cents a gallon back then. He says, that's a lot of money. If you like number 653, I don't know where you got it from. He said, put a number for it to win today, and put a number tomorrow, put a number for it to win the next day. Then you double your odds. So my father said, great, sounds like a good idea. The very next morning, he gets a phone call from this guy, Tony.
No.
John, where'd you get that number? He said, you hit. and so my mother, all this money came in, and my mother said, John, God made that happen, and Mother Mary made that happen. He said, you're not going to spend that money on yourself. You are going to build a shrine to Mother Mary. He said, that's why the shrine's in the backyard. But we went out to dinner, and I look at my dad's license plate, and it was JMJ 653. Jesus, Mary, Joseph, the number 653. 6 Our Fathers, 53 Hail Marys, and 1 Rosary. So to me, a scientist, I'm thinking, what a coincidence. But when you really figure it out, the odds for Andy to win the first time he played were 1 in 1,000. He tells my father plays the first time, the odds are 1 in 1,000. You put those together, the odds that my father would win that day were 1 in 1,000,000. Unbelievable, isn't it? And I thought, that's an amazing coincidence. So I began thinking that maybe there's something there.